Projek Cahaya, initially it was an idea between Taufik and myself to create a platform for us to do something fun outside of our daily jobs. That was our intention in the beginning. We just wanted to throw cool parties and make cool stuff and play music. We came to a realization that this platform has become quite serious, and the audience that we have gathered and our influence, we decided to evolve the platform and try to do more, I would say, serious things. And this led to Kitab Basar, which is our first collaboration with Pusaka and also kumpulan Kuda Kepang Parit Raja.
One of the things that we notice in our journey is that we often overlook tradition and culture in Malaysia. So we wanted to merge tradition, dance, music, and light together. So with Kitab Basar in particular, it's really a journey into what they would call a celestial realm. As a producer and our team, it was a journey to work with the dancers, work with the musicians from Kuda Kepang Parit Raja, and to understand their background, their perspective, and why they're doing it, their intention. So it's a really beautiful thing.
The inspiration behind Kitab Basar was to preserve local culture and history, but also at the same time we want to recontextualize and reinterpret it our way so that we can showcase it to a younger and newer audience. At the same time, we would like to be also respectful when we reinterpret these local art forms.
Kuda Kepang is very an experiential art. There's audio, there's smell, there's touch, and also visually as a dance performance.
Usually in a Kuda Kepang performance, it involves the Bapa, which they also call the master. He controls the performers in the performance. We have the Danyang, which are the dancers, and then we have the Badals, guardians that assist the Bapa in the show. A large part of the show involves the performers getting into a state of trance, which they themselves call mabuk. What they would usually do is to invite spirits into them. These spirits are called isms, and these isms are embodiments of monkeys, tigers, and on some rare occasions they could also be princesses. They would express themselves through singing, through dancing, and some might even eat glass in front of the audience. For first-time audiences, attending a Kuda Kepang performance might be uncomfortable to them, but this whole feeling and sensation is all part of the Kuda Kepang experience. Kuda Kepang performances are seen as taboo here in Malaysia. Perception of public towards this kind of practice is very, I would say, shallow. Is the media sensationalization of the word mystic to the normal people. How they understand it is mysticism. Second is rasuk. From my experience spending time with the Kuda Kepang guys, those two words they do not mention at all. In Kuda Kepang, there's no such thing as mysticism and there's no such thing as rasuk. In Kuda Kepang, they invite the spirits into themselves willingly. So there's no violent possession involved. And also it doesn't help that some states have restricted these performers from performing openly in public. Kitab Basar is not different from your traditional Kuda Kepang performance. What we do with Kitab Basar is we recontextualize and we reinterpret the Kuda Kepang performance, and we find the intersections between the traditional, between technology and music. And what we do is we find the parallels between those practices and we package it into either a performance, a show, or installation, or into a design or into art.
Zul went to Parit Raja, to Johor, to meet them personally. They told Zul about what is Kuda Kepang, how do you learn it, how do you perform it, and what are the steps. So we discussed internally and we came out with the design. The whole stage or area where they perform is called a gelanggang. Before performing Kuda Kepang, you have to book a gelanggang, opening ceremony lah. So it's represented by these 4 pillars, where it's like a gatekeeper. They have to open all these 4 gates, invisible gates, to protect from outside interference. In Black Box, they had these pillars. So we had the light sculptures there to represent those 4 pillars. The main part of the design was the top light. We designed it in a way or in the shape of 2 eyes. So this represents of the all-seeing eye of the Bapa. So he's the one who's the gatekeeper lah. Basically, he can see the unseen and he also controls the seen. We had this mirror flooring to represent again the seen and unseen world, where you see a performer or a dancer dancing and yet you see a blurred version of the performers on the floor.
Some of the challenges we faced as a group was really working together in sync with Kuda Kepang Parade Raja and Seni Pusaka. Our goal is not to take away from a Kuda Kepang performance, but really to show it in a new light, to show it to a new audience, and so that's our goal.
One of the isim we were told when they get into trance, they like to eat all the light bulbs or light tubes. So we had to design it in such a way that it's not reachable when they are in trance. One of the ideas were to have modern electronic music to play alongside the traditional musicians. But then we got to know that when they were performing, the traditional music or the traditional instruments can't stop playing. That's one of the taboos or one of the don'ts, because that can agitate the isim. So how we work around it was to have myself and Zul to play the traditional instruments instead. Overall experience was crazy in a way that I've never experienced all that. I've never thought of the unseen world was very real. You can actually feel it, even though you can't see it, but there's some sort of energy around you, especially when I was playing. It's not, I just learned it that we had like probably one day to learn the instruments. But somehow when you were just playing it, you're like in trance, where you're just following the beat and somehow you just know how to play it. I can't really explain it, but it's just, I don't know whether there's an energy or an entity that's helping you play the rhythm or the instruments. The music stays with you for, I guess, for me it's a week. When you sleep, during the day, in the car, the music just lingers behind you like that ting 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 ting. I don't know how to explain it, but especially when that night when I got home, the music was there in the room. It was so loud, it was so clear. It was just still playing throughout the night. That's just the experience I had.